It's the journey. I mean, we started in this at a very young age. 22 years old. I think you expect your partner to know. No. It was really interesting because, there were a lot of guys, there were a lot of famous guys, right? Yeah. A lot of them, Yeah. So everywhere I go, there's someone who's been in their underwear with my wife. As you may be aware, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett have made news for giving fans a bit too much insight into their relationship. On a number of times, they have been honest about the ups and downs of their 25-year marriage. Welcome to our channel, Celeb Zone. With every disclosure the pair makes about their relationship, they continue to wow their admirers, and most recently Will made another surprising disclosure. So what did he disclose this time? The King Richards actor dispelled rumors of adultery in his 25-year marriage to actress Jada Pinkett Smith. During a CBS Sunday Morning interview with Gayle, King was asked how he and Jada dealt with adultery. You both have talked very candidly. It's a very famous story, infidelity in the marriage and how you navigated that time. There's never been infidelity in our marriage, never been infidelity in the marriage. Never. Jada and I talk about everything, and we've never surprised one another with anything ever. Infidelity has never occurred in our marriage. Fans were perplexed by Will's contentious remark and wondered whether Jada was brainwashing him into thinking she wasn't unfaithful. One fan wrote, "Just because you're honest about cheating doesn't change the fact that you cheated." Or, as Jada puts it, entanglements love his movies, but he's a peculiar dude. Another one added, "Why lie? You both talked about her knocking boots with that little boy, remember? Well, you guys talked about it on her show, Red Table." A Twitter user also went ahead to insinuate that Will was blindsided by Jada in a comment saying, "Well, not on his side anyway." Will has already spoken about the amount of media attention he and Jada got in September. The actor shared his first ever thoughts on the iconic Red Table Talk conversation while discussing what it's like to be in the spotlight. The actor responded to the topic in an interview with GQ magazine, where he provided more context for the time when he and Jada weren't monogamous. Will's shockingly open conversation with the journalist revealed that he and Jada have had sexual interactions with mutual permission outside of their marriage. Jada never supported traditional unions. Will mentioned that Jada's family members had an unusual relationship. She therefore experienced childhood extremely differently from how I did. He said that there were important never-ending arguments on what constitutes relational excellence. What is the ideal approach to communicate with your partner and throughout the majority of your relationship? We decided against considering monogamy to be the only relationship that can be ideal in the notion that each person must choose their own path. We have given each other our trust and freedom. Additionally, he continued, marriage for us cannot be a prison, and I don't recommend our path for anyone. However, the reality is that the liberties to me, the unwavering support that we have provided for one another and each other is the epitome of love. Will also talked about his opinions on the Red Table conversation, particularly in light of the publicity it garnered. He asserted that the public story is impenetrable. It's difficult to impossible to change the images, thoughts, and impressions once the audience has made a decision. In case you missed it, Jada admitted to having an affair with rapper August Alsina at the 2020 Red Table discussion. Jada Pinkett Smith talked about her friendship with August Alsina at the Red Table Talk interview. August Alsina had turned to the Smiths for support. While he was going through a difficult period, Will Smith said to Jada, "I think you need to say clearly what happened to start the dialogue. We made the decision to claim our space, you and I, and what took place." Jada said, "Yeah. And then I got entangled with August," to which Will chuckled and said, "An entanglement." Jada said, "A relationship?" "Yes, it was definitely a relationship." However, August Alsina told Entertainment Tonight that while individuals are free to express their thoughts, he was uncomfortable with his persona being posed as a query. "I don't cause trouble and I truly dislike drama since it makes me queasy. Additionally, I don't believe it's ever crucial for others to know what I do, who I sleep with, and who I date. But in this case, it's quite different because, like I mentioned, so many people are giving me the side eye and asking me about it. She is someone I genuinely, honestly, deeply adore and care about a great deal. I gave it my whole attention. I really committed myself to it. So much so that if I were to pass away right now, I would be content knowing that I had fully given myself to someone I truly love, the person I went through it with, and I understand how that feels," he continued. Jada persisted in sharing her version of events, saying that she was in excruciating agony at the time. "I definitely realized that you can't find happiness outside of yourself." Throughout the course of that relationship, Jada stated and added, "I was in a lot of agony and I was extremely damaged. And fortunately, you and I were going through the healing process in completely different ways. Without a doubt, I'd say that we used every effort to avoid one another before realizing that it was impossible. I think I started a friendship with August around 4.5 years ago, and we ended up being really close. And it all began with me simply wanting to improve his physical and emotional well-being and him merely needing some assistance." Will questioned what Jada was seeking, to which she said, "I just wanted to feel good. I felt fantastic because it had been so long. Additionally, seeing someone heal was a genuine delight. That, in my opinion, is much influenced by my codependency, which is another habit I had to learn to change in order to stop this cycle of needing to repair and being drawn to those who require assistance. Something about that traumatic experience from childhood makes it seem like other people need to be mended rather than just myself." Many of Jada's admirers, who aren't afraid to call her out, were upset by that specific response. One angry fan wrote, "Imagine having to hear how your mom effed the family friend not much older than you." Another user pointed out how Jada Pinkett Smith's behavior was somewhat predatory. They wrote, "Is it not strange to anyone how Jada mentions they were helping this kid through an illness? On top of all the things here, she was taking what she wanted. He was considerably younger. She was first and foremost a support figure for a sick kid. Well, like 21 or 22. I just find that super gross. And it says something about her character." Another fan replied, "Oh my God, this! It's crazy how many people are focusing on the affair part. He was 21, Jaden's best friend at the time, and was dealing with mental illness. The Smiths were allegedly getting him help, and it ended with Jada sleeping with him. Imagine if the situation was reversed and Will had taken advantage of a mentally ill family friend 20 years his junior." While another one added, "She wants to sound like this was a learning process and healing and all that crap. But in reality, she slept with a young kid with a mental illness.